Thank you. Thank you. To His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, and Her Excellency Lady Rachel Ruto, the former President, President Uhuru Kenyatta, the visiting President past and present, the Deputy Presidents, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and watu wetu wa Kenya kwa jumla, hamjambo. Today is a very unique day. It is not every day that I would be standing here to say something to the nation and to the world about my dear husband, Raila Amolo Odinga. For those who don't know me, I've got a very long name. They call me Canon Dr. Ida Betty Odinga, EST. Now, these names don't just come like that, but they are names that are given. I cannot forget the name that the public has given me called Min Pin. That name is a very heavy name because it is a name that puts a lot of responsibility to the owner of that name. I'm also gotten the name of Peace Ambassador. And for that reason, even before I say something else, I'd like to say something about peace. One thing that I know that Raila stood for, and he keep on repeating, is that we need peace in our nation, we need peace in our homes. And peace will not survive in a situation, in a chaotic situation. For that reason, I appeal, today I appeal, let us mourn Raila in peace. I know you are all concerned. I know you are all mourning. You are sad about this, but let's keep peace so that the peace can prevail, not only here in the stadium, but also in the rest of the country. Coming to talk about my dear husband, Raila Amolo Odinga. I first met Raila way back in the early 70s, and we got married in 1973. For that reason, I've lived with this man for 52 years. Many of the people that I see or who are in this stadium could have easily be our children. No wonder you call him Baba. That name did not come from nowhere, but came from the experience and the life that he has lived with and relationship that he has had with some of these people. During our union, we were blessed by 4 children. First, the first child was called Fidel Castro Odhiambo Odinga. When Fidel was born, I was a bit hesitant the way he gives the name. I say, why do you call him Fidel? Then he said he was a great admirer of Fidel Castro, and therefore he named his first child Fidel Castro Odinga. Later, we had the second child, Rosemary, and here again, Rose is the name of my mother, and Mary is the name of his mother. We combined the two names together, and we call the child Rosemary. It also has a meaning to us. When it came to the third one, and he named after his best friend and his cousin called Raila Kembo, with whom they shared the name. So we ended up with Raila Odinga Odinga. Last, there was a big gap, and I'll explain to you. Last came the fourth child. The fourth child, when I went to the hospital, and you know those mothers, or well, you know, you end up somewhere in labor ward. And I was watching the television. And on the television, that's the time when Nelson Mandela had come out of prison. It was he's been there for 27 years. Raila also had been in prison, but that's not why we named her Winnie. And I was watching the television, I could see Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela holding hands as Mandela walked out of the gates of the prison. By then, I didn't know what kind of child I was going to get. But then I said, if it's a boy, we'll name him Wilson Mandela. But if it's a girl, will be Winnie Mandela. And therefore, Winnie Mandela arrived. And that's the fourth child. I see when you look at this naming of the children, I know these days you can name your child anything that you want. But I'll appeal to those who are still having babies. Give your child a meaningful name. Because you name them people you never saw, you never heard of, simply because it saw the name written somewhere. There's nothing wrong with giving our children the names of the people who in our lives we think are the heroes. Our life was not smooth life. Just like any other family, there's been ups and downs. But as we continue living together, we've learned how to cope, because we all have weaknesses and strengths. We learned to talk straight to one another. We learned to speak the truth, and we learned to forgive and move on. Now, that forgiving spirit was not only in the home, but is something that has spread to the Kenyan. You've seen how many times he has tried in the elections, but that forgiveness is a paramount. So please don't carry grudges from one generation to another and from one group to another. We are all Kenyans. We are all Kenyans. We are sisters and brothers. We must learn to forgive easily and build together Kenya. Towards the end, I'll not say everything. I would like to say everything, but time would not allow. And a span of 52 years is not a short time. I hope that when I get another opportunity on Sunday, I'll be able to say more. But one thing that he kept on repeating to me is that we must urge Kenyans, we must urge Kenyans to live in peace. He kept on repeating that. We must repeat it to our Kenyans, we live in peace. Raila hated dishonesty. He hated dishonesty. He hated greed. The greed that have affected the main fabric of our society. The greed that leads to stealing from the public coffers. The greed that leads to corruptions. That's the kind of thing that Raila would not have liked to see. So, you people, you Kenyans, I'll tell you more. But I thank you. I thank you, those who have come and those who are watching us from other places. I thank you for standing with this family. I thank you for being here for us. And I thank you for helping us to mourn Raila. May his soul lie in eternal peace. And for the people of Kenya, I wish you well, thank you, and may God bless you. Thank you.